Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Python with Friends. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about functions, what they are, and how we can build them. So without wasting much time, let us jump into our collab. This is one of our mini projects. This was the one that we had to build. We had to convert a dictionary into a data frame, and we had to do some manipulations whereby we wanted to separate the dollar symbol from numbers, and then we were able to convert this from strings, that's everything here, from strings to numbers, and then we were able to add them together, and then we were able to now create a new column. And then, everything is all here. I'm sure if you were following, you would remember this project. So this was what we were able to achieve. Now, assuming this is what you do every week. Every week, you have a set of data like this, and you have to do the same thing. It's hectic going through it line by line, line by line. What if you could find a way of automating it? And that is where Python shines. There's something called functions. If you can just create a function, all you just need to do is that you have a dictionary, you just pass it into that function, and then it will spill out everything you've done here. So let's try it. Let's give it a try. Let's just play around with it. Let's see. So this is the data we use prior. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the first cell. I'm waiting for the internet. Good, just run. And then I will hash this because I don't need it right now. Control / now I'll hash it. And then I just want this data to run. Now, if you print data, what _1, good, there it is, type hints are telling me. It's just going to print the same items from the dictionary. So what we're going to do now, we're going to create a function that will just do this automatically. And because the last time we ran this mini project, we did it step by step. I wouldn't want to do the same thing right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy those steps because I'm sure that they're good, they're working, and apply them into that function, and then run it once. And then you see do what we wanted to do, just like it did the last time, just that this will be shorter. So if you want to create a function, you start with the word def. Somebody said it means define. I'm not sure if that's what it means, but I know that that's how you start. Then you give it a name, just like a variable name. So what do we call it? I could call it mini project because that was what we called it the last time, mini project. And then I open a bracket. I need to pass something to it. I can just call what I'm passing to data, and that ends it. Then I have to put a colon at the end of the bracket. Then I'm going to enter. You can see that once you enter that way, you get something like an indentation. The cursor just moves in a bit because of this semicolon, mostly. Once you put semicolon, because of this colon. Once you working with for loops, functions, while loops, once you put that colon and you enter, you're going to have an indentation. All right. So what's the first thing we do? The first thing we do that whatever data we have, once we get it, we need to convert it into a data frame. And that's a formula we just need to copy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy that formula. Well, I have to remove let's copy this formula as it is. I won't change much and drop it. So once we've changed it into a data frame, the next thing we need to do, let me just get rid of this output. We need to now convert everything into this. So sorry, I have to make the correction here. We are calling data here. We need to also make this place data so that we don't have errors. So here we go. Copy everything here apart from the display and move in. Here we go. I'll give some space here. So what are we doing here? This next lines of code is supposed to separate. You know, when we create data frame, there was one that was attached. Just watch the last video when we were doing the mini project. It's supposed to separate the data frames into two. We tried it in the last project and it worked, so I know it's good. I just copied and move on. So once I look at it, this is the former output. What we did was to separate this into this, right? This to this. So that's what this code is for. The next code, no, not this info, is to form a new column, this one here, total earnings, with these values. So I just copy this again, just that. Nope, not you. Let's see. Good. Give it some space and I drop it. So once we have formed that new column called total earnings, what else do we need to do? We need to drop these other column. We don't need it, right? So here we go. Go back here, drop it. And what else do we need to do? Last but not the least is we want to put dollar signs and make it look like something in on an Excel sheet. Where were we? Oh, here we are. You have to make sure the indentation are in the right place. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move them to make sure they're in the right place. And then I need to be able to what happened? All right, I need to write notes here. Just notes to remind me what I'm doing. I don't know. This is just what is making sense to me right now. Present table. Getting from here. Then, so that when I see this code tomorrow, I know what it means, right? Then I'll say, so this cell here is to convert dictionary to, let's see, data frame. And this one is split, sorry, to put a hash to show that I'm putting comments. Split the, let's see, salary endorsement column into 2. And just make sure it's correct. This one here is create a new column called total earnings. So what is this? Drop the column. Yep. And the last one, add dollar symbol to the currency columns. Let's say to the appropriate, hope I can spell that, appropriate currency columns. And then the last thing we need to do is to return something. We return, okay, we've been using df1 because we've been copying it, just return df1. And I think it's done, no errors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a new. So the name of our function is mini project. So I'm going to write mini as mini project. It's a function. We open bracket. Then what do we have here? We have data underscore 1. So we put here as the name of the dictionary. So the idea is we're going to pass a dictionary and it's going to bring out a completed data frame like this. So we just run and voila. So assuming this is something you do often, all you just need is to have access to this code and the source code here that we just created. And you just put in this and you get that. I mean, how cool is that? If you've never worked with, what do you call them? Functions before, this is like magic. It's super quick. Can you just imagine? Can you just see how quickly we were able to do that? You can do that with anything as long as you repeat it, as long as it's something you do often. You just create this function and you just pass whatever you want. All I just did was to pass this into that. This was what I passed. The name data1 was what I passed. So just look at it. If you have questions, just ask me. If you can play around with it. Some of you who follow my project were able to go get your own data set from somewhere else. You were able to create your own dictionary and were able to do your own. That was very commendable. That was very creative. So that will be a lot easier because you know what you did. Just copy them, paste, copy, paste, paste in that. Make sure you keep your indentation. This is it. This is my, what do you call it? Sorry, let me just create some space here. So this is it. This is my function. And look at the space I kept here for the indentation here. You just hit enter and it enters. Just as I've written all these things now, I'll be able to see it and know what I did. I may not be able to remember everything, how I got this function, because the last time I had to work step by step to be sure they were working correctly. But right now, I know they're working correctly. I just need to arrange them in the right order in my function. And I just need to run it once like this and see. It has done everything. Everything. It deleted that column that I didn't need. It added a dollar symbol. It created a new column for me. Everything, just that simple line, this function. And that is how Pandas functions Python functions are being created. So if you have to run any inbuilt function, like, let's see, like what right now? What have we used here? Like this. Sorry, let me get my tool. Do you see this? This is data frame. Then there's an open bracket. That is a function, but because it is an inbuilt function, it is called a method. That is just a difference. So this is how these things are built from scratch. And you also have the skills to begin to build stuff from scratch yourself. And I think even I have what it takes to build something from scratch. And I'm happy that I have the skill, and I'm sure you are right now. Anyway, I don't have much to say. And I just thought I should make this video because I didn't talk about functions when I was talking about Python. So I decided to introduce functions now as I'm talking about pandas. And we'll still talk about, there's so much about pandas, there's so much. I pray I'm able to do 2 videos a week so that I can finish pandas in the next 2 weeks. Then we move to something else. But I hope you have fun going through this video and also converting your own codes into functions and then see how fast they are. Because if you have more data that are the same, you just pass it through that function and it does the same thing within a few minutes. I mean, few minutes. I mean, as long as I have these codes, this is just a second. It's just enough for me to pass the data in here, whatever I call that dictionary. And this is what I'm going to get as long as it's in the same order. As long as it's the same names, except if there's a difference in the column names, then you make the changes. Let me see what you do with yours and let me get some comments. Thank you for your time. And till next time, ciao. Happy coding. Bye-bye.